morning. Welcome to the conversation. I found an interesting article in the from the Final Call newspaper, published by the Nation of Islam, founded by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the name of the article is entitled "Celebrating the Legacy of James Baldwin, a, cent- a Centenarian Celebration." And I'm going to get into this article in a minute because if you would like to get the newspaper for yourself, it is the November 18th, 2024 edition of the Final Call. So, hey, check it out. As a matter of fact, I get a lot of my news information. I'm talking about the real, the real news from the Final Call newspaper. If you like Tyrone Bowman Live, kindly subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. And if you really want to see us do some good, uh, you'll see that the hashtag Piexel4. That's my personal cash app there. Support this channel. It doesn't matter, a nickel, penny, quarter, dollar, whatever you decide to help me with, because I really want to be able to do some important things with this channel and get it up and running and make it look more professional. But you know what? It takes money to get it done. So right now I'm just working basically with a makeshift studio here. If I would turn this camera around, you would see the crappy studio that I put together. All right, I want to talk about this fine article from the Nation of Islam newspaper. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters out there. Y'all know I ain't got nothing but love for you. Okay, now let's get down to it. Celebrating the legacy of James Baldwin. Here's a quote from the late James Baldwin. Quote, "To be Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time." Close quote. James Baldwin, novelist, essayist, poet, and playwright, was one of the most influential writers and intellectuals of the 20th century. Known for his poignant essays, novels, and plays, Mr. Baldwin used his sharp literary talents to address the complex uh, intersections of race, identity, and social injustice in America. And student minister Ismail Muhammad, a national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the son of the most Elijah, pardon, I didn't mean to mess that up, and son of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was a featured panelist at a recent event honoring the life and works of Mr. Baldwin at the historic Harold Washington Library on November 2nd. If anyone knows about the late Harold Washington, he was the first black mayor of Chicago. I think, as a matter of fact, I think I will do an extensive profile about Harold Washington during his time and legacy, history in Chicago. Now back to the article. Mr. Baldwin passed away in 1987 at age 63, but his words continued to resonate through the walls of time, echoing the struggles and triumphs of those who fight for justice and equality. Panelists also include Dr. Anthony Monterio, scholar, activist, and educator, and an expert on the works of W.E.B. Du Bois, and James Baldwin on Antasha and Robinson, Master of Education, MPA. They presented an original documentary screening of, quote, "To Fulfill the Unfulfilled," close quote, on the legendary author's life, followed by a roundtable discussion. As a matter of fact, one of the most powerful books that James Baldwin wrote is called The Fire Next Time. I've read that book many times. Check it out. And it's worth reading, it's worth researching. Don't allow the slanted, racist, bigoted news media try to educate your mind and try to dissuade you from connecting to the historical aspects of our people. All right, now back to this article. The event was hosted by the Chicago Public Library in partnership with the Philadelphia-based Saturday Free School for Psychology and Black Liberation. Over 100 people crowded into the small auditorium where viewers were captivated by the film that featured Mr. Baldwin and highlighted how he and other civil rights leaders, like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Medgar Evers, fearlessly challenged the media in white America. Mr. Baldwin was a key figure in the civil rights struggle and movement and was vocal about injustices facing black people. The panel wasted no time discussing the lack of knowledge or the forgotten history of black heroes and freedom fighters and the importance of blacks preserving their own history. The system is spoken, and pardon me, the system is broken. It was doomed from its inception. We have been forced to form in a system that is unnatural. This is a system that was built for white people, by white people, and black people must come to terms with that, explained student minister Ishmael Muhammad, quote, close quote. Ms. Robinson emphasized the need to teach black children the history of the civil rights struggle and how America is purposely trying to hide it. She stressed that black people, listen, she stressed, let me move my microphone. She stressed that black heroes previously learned about years ago when she was in school and are no longer being taught about, and that is true. We must read, research, educate, inform ourselves. Don't expect for somebody else to do what we're doing for ourselves. The most Elijah Muhammad used to always say, do for self, quote, close quote. So study for ourselves, research for ourselves, educate ourselves, educate your own mind. And you know, let me just say this while I'm talking, because I see some of you idiots in the comment section too early in the morning for this foolery and stupidity. White people always get upset and get mad and get angry anytime black people talk about the black struggle in the civil rights, but they don't get pissed off and angry when we talk about the Holocaust and we talk about the atrocities that happened to other nations and other people. And see, that's the problem in America. And really, I don't care if they get mad. I don't care if they get angry. I don't care if they get upset. The same way they love their people, love their heritage, good or bad or indifferent. I'm going to stand up for my people. I'm going to talk about our heritage, our struggle, our cultural. That's why I keep telling people, quote FUBU, for us, by us. This channel right here, Tyrone Bowman Live, I make content for black people. I report for black people from a black perspective with my own personal analysis and commentary. I don't make content for any other group of people. Other people are welcome to join this channel. Other people are welcome to even chime in. But primarily, my targeted audience is my people. So I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do it. Now back to this article, very fine article. So student minister Ishmael Muhammad added that it is black people's responsibility to teach their own history in children and not depend on other people to do it. Dr. Monterio also named the Baldwin documentary, and pardon me, he narrated the Baldwin documentary and answered a question posed by an audience member about the political climate of the past, today's climate, and black faith and blacks' faith in the Democratic Party. Dr. Monterio responded by explaining that blacks cannot put their faith in political parties and added that politicians must be held accountable for what they say. And further, student minister Ishmael Muhammad agreed and added how little power politicians truly possess and how political candidates are selected before they are elected. That's a stipulated fact. They are selected before they are elected. And I agree with student minister Ishmael Muhammad. Blacks must reorganize or must, yes, recognize the hidden hand that is controlling the system, he explained. He also reminded the audience of a meeting Mr. Baldwin had with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the summer of 1961, during a period of intense civil rights activism and racial reckoning in America. In his book, 1963, The Fire Next Time, in the second essay titled Down at the Cross, Letter from a Region in My Mind, Mr. Baldwin discussed how the Nation of Islam in depth, providing insight into different approaches to black liberation and empowerment. The title of Mr. Baldwin's book is taken from a line in a spiritual song, Mary Don't You Weep, which includes the lyrics, God gave Noah the rainbow sign, no more water but fire next time. And Baldwin's father, James Baldwin's father, was one of those stone starched Pentecostal preachers when he was growing up. I've studied his life very, very carefully, and this is something worth noting and worth talking about. So this is going to be part one. I will bring part two at a later date, but for now, I just want this video to kind of circulate so people, but I'm going to close out so people have an opportunity to know about James Baldwin. I'm going to close out by saying this. Mr. Baldwin as a warning of impending judgment and destruction. That's what the book was about, Fire Next Time. Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad's passionately told the audience that the black struggle has not been about, listen, civil rights. The black struggle has been for human rights and for a people to exercise their right to self-determination. Quote, close quote. Till next time, never surrender, never quit.